So good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for joining today's info session. My name is Rui, and I'll be your moderator for this session. I'm joined by my colleague Salome and by the topic writer Mike and Dalbert. The focus of this info session is the topic expanding transnational knowledge in minipigs, a path to reduce and replace non-human primates in non-clinical safety assessment. And before we start our session, I just wanted to remind you that we will hold a separate info session on our rules and procedures. The date's still to be confirmed. If you have any urgent questions in the meantime, please send them to applicants@ihi.europa.eu. This functional email is also on your chat. We are recording the session as well as all the other call for sessions, and this session will be published on IHI's website and B2Match platform, as well as the presentation slides. All information regarding future IHI call topics is indicative and subject to change. So now I'm passing the floor to my colleague Salome.
Hello, everyone. Welcome in today's info session for IHI Call 4, Topic 1. My name is Salome Koussoropoulis, and I'm a Scientific Project Officer following this topic. Regarding today's session, we will cover an introduction to the IHI program, and then the industry lead from the pre-identified consortium will present the content of the topic. Please be aware that this is a two-stage call, and the pre-identified consortium has prepared the topic text, so potential applicants must not contact members of the pre-identified consortium. In case of questions, please contact the IHI program office. We will also provide information on proposal submission and evaluation, and also tips for writing a successful proposal. This session will not cover the rules and procedures. A webinar on rules and procedures will be organized at a later stage. So a few words about the Innovative Health Initiative. This is the EU's new partnership in health between the European Union, represented by the European Commission, and the healthcare industry associations, more precisely COSIR, representing the medical imaging, radiotherapy, health ICT and electromedical industries, EFPIA, including Vaccines Europe, representing the pharmaceutical and vaccine industries, Europa Bio, representing biotechnology industry, and MedTech Europe, representing the medical technology industry. So this is a much broader group as compared to IMI2. Regarding the IHI's general objectives, the general objectives of IHI is to turn health research and innovation into real benefits for patients and society, deliver safe, effective health innovations that cover the entire spectrum of care, particularly in the areas where there is an unmet public health need, and make Europe's health industries globally competitive. So we have a strategic research and innovation agenda, which details the areas that IHI should work on and helps to guide the IHI's decision on which ideas should be then turned into call topics. The focus is on cross-sectoral approaches to facilitate creation of new products and services in healthcare, and the goal is to lay foundations for development of safer and more effective health care products or solutions. This is very important to remember that the work supported by IHI is pre-competitive, as there is an expectation for the industry to work together. You can find more information about the research and innovation agenda of IHI in the link provided on the bottom of the slide. So this is a two-call stage and how it works. So the call topic has been defined by the pre-identified industry consortium, and the industrial partners align themselves around a real shared challenge for industry and agree to work together in a pre-competitive space, of course, and agree on resources to be provided. They prepare the topic text, which describes the impacts, the outcomes, the scope, why why this topic fits into an IHI environment, the industry consortium and contributions, and the skills expected from the public sector applicants. Once the topic text is approved by the IHI Governing Board, the call, including the topic, is launched for proposals. So from the moment the topic is launched, the pre-identified consortium steps aside, and we open the call for applicants to construct a consortium and to prepare and submit the short proposal. So typically, the public side consortia includes a variety of stakeholders, including universities, hospitals, regulators, patients' organizations, and so on. All the submitted eligible proposals will undergo an evaluation by an independent panel of experts. The outcome of this evaluation will be that the top-ranked proposal, so only one public consortium, will be invited to merge with the pre-identified industry consortium that prepare the topic text and work together to prepare the full proposal. Then they will submit the full proposal and which will undergo a second round of evaluation. So if the full proposal is found to be successful, the full consortium will be invited to sign the grant agreement and start the project. So this is the last slide for me now, and I'm happy to pass the floor to the topic writer, Maiken Dalhart.
Hello, everyone, and thank you to Rui and Salome for providing the opportunity to pitch this topic today. I come from Novo Nordisk, where I'm a principal scientist, and I currently lead this topic. Next slide, please. So the challenge we face is that the development of in vitro models for human safety assessment is challenging due to the complex biological responses in various organ systems, and it will take years, maybe even decades, before we reach a confident level where we will actually be able to replace animal studies with non-animal approaches while ensuring human safety. So overall, this upcoming project should be considered as an intermediate step to try to move away from the use of non-human primates during the journey towards non-animal approaches, since we do have a legal and ethical obligation to replace, reduce, and refine the use of animals in research, including a specific focus on restricting the use of non-human primates. The challenge is that many of the new drug modalities are designed to engage with human targets with very high specificity, which is a rationale for selecting non-human primates in the safety testing instead of using other non-rodent species, which are less comparable to humans in biology and in physiological response. However, while there is quite a substantial translational knowledge generated in the non-human primate regarding these new modalities, there are still many translational unknowns in pigs, which makes it difficult to select the pig as an alternative to non-human primates in the safety testing of therapeutics to humans. Next slide, please. So the objectives in this topic is to advance biomedical research and development by generating background scientific data to turn the minipigs into a viable and feasible alternative to non-human primates in key therapeutic areas with special focus on translatability, human versus minipigs, in non-clinical safety assessment. So we would also like to characterize the minipig for use in research and development of new therapeutics and innovative medical technologies. The knowledge generated in this project may facilitate innovative health solutions, improve disease understanding, and human predictions to the benefit of the patients in areas of unmet need. Next slide, please. So these objectives require a huge effort across various disciplines, and in order to reach the outcome, a cross-sectional collaboration is a must. Since we need to implement and develop species-specific technologies, provide high-quality data, and ensure best practice in order to create up-to-date and sustainable solutions. Further, we need to share knowledge and expertise across sectors, since the industry currently does not have the needed know-how with regard to use of relevant biomarkers, technologies, and bioinformatics solutions, which can be transferred from other species to the pig. We can all acknowledge the fact that new technologies are often updated the minute they are launched. So new innovative solutions developed for pigs in this upcoming project may also be useful for other species or can be beneficial for certain patient populations. So for these reasons, an involvement of partners with relevant expertise from other sectors, and here in particular, I would like to mention non-clinical regulators, SMEs, startups, research organizations, and academia. And with regard to the translational aspects, organizations with access to clinical data, for example, from hospitals and biobanks, would be highly appreciated. Next slide, please. So with regard to the scope of this upcoming project, we will compile and publish existing historical safety data in minipigs conducted in biomedical research and development. And further, we will evaluate the translatability of minipigs in human risk assessment, following treatment with biologicals and new therapeutic modalities, and discuss future perspectives of the minipig with regulatory agencies, both based on the historical data, but also on the newly generated data in this upcoming project. We will also create more omics data in the minipig to develop new translatable biomarkers and increase our disease understanding. We already have some gene expression data spread around in the various companies, but the aim is also to generate and compile proteomic and metabolomic data, as well as endocrine biomarkers in the minipig as well. We will also monitor physiological behavior of minipigs 24/7 in undisturbed animals having automated clinical data collection and analysis. We would like to further characterize the minipig immune system, and in relation to this, it's important to have access to validated reagents, assays, and biomarkers for immunological investigations. Finally, a project management team will set up systems so that all data generated in this upcoming project will be compiled, digitalized in shared databases, and published. Next slide, please. So we expect to obtain and share biological knowledge of the pig thereby facilitating the development of innovative solutions for pig models used in the non-clinical safety assessment. Some of the knowledge and technologies from other species can probably be adapted to the pig and vice versa. Also, we expect to generate a regulatory pathway for drug safety assessment of biologicals and other novel therapeutic modalities in minipigs in alignment with the regulatory authorities. So this project provides the potential to impact future regulatory strategies. Another outcome is to obtain characterized and validated genetically modified minipig models, for example, humanized minipig models, again for use in non-clinical safety assessment. In addition, we are also particularly interested in characterizing and validation of a micropig, since only small amounts of new drug candidates are available during the phases of research and early development, which is preventing the pharmaceutical companies in selecting a species like the minipig, which is at least 2 to 5 times heavier than the non-human primate. Another expected outcome is an assessment of the utility of the minipig as a relevant toxicology species for immunosafety testing. Further validated biomarkers, antibodies, and in vitro immunoassays are developed to characterize the immune system and to assess the immunosafety of drugs in minipigs. And finally, an expected outcome is a development of minipig-specific technology for collection of automated study data from validated medical devices, biosensors, software, and digital pins. Based on the generated data, we expect to develop machine learning and artificial intelligence-based tools to monitor abnormalities in behavior and physiological systems. Again, this may be applicable to other species as well. Next slide, please. So the increased translational knowledge in minipigs versus non-human primates and humans will allow us to reduce total number of animals and replace non-human primates with pigs without compromising human safety. Further, the translational knowledge obtained in this upcoming project can foster development and validation of future non-animal approaches as an alternative to the use of non-human primates and humans, which are simply too valuable to use in method validation work where the response in rodents are not considered human relevant. Also, this upcoming project will provide improved disease understanding, which can lead to new research pathways, which again, for example, can enhance the use of new non-invasive technologies. If we use these new technologies to monitor behavior in animals, this can be considered a refinement initiative, as the animals will experience less stress because they are left undisturbed in their home cages. These new research pathways can also lead to new technologies and approaches in patients. The easy access to well-characterized animal models will also contribute to the sustainability and quality of biomedical research and development, because the non-human primate is not available at the moment. Finally, optimizing cross-sector collaboration can accelerate medical innovation and ensure a sustainable and competitive biomedical industry, again for the benefit of the patients and European citizens. Next slide, please. So what is needed from the applicant consortium? Within the area of digitalization, we need database constructors. In addition, we would like to collaborate with partners who have the technology to do automated digital data collection of normal physiological behavior. Also, we will need partners who have access to algorithmic tools for machine learning and artificial intelligence within this area. Within the area of biotechnology, we need suppliers of genetically modified minipigs, validated biomarkers, imaging technologies, and within the area of immunosafety investigations, we would like to have partners with access to validated reagents and assays. We would also really appreciate to have regulatory advisors on board. In the industry consortium, we do have regulatory experience within the non-clinical area. However, in order to build sustainable regulatory strategies and reach the expected outcomes, we would need a running dialogue with regulatory advisors. Finally, we need a management organizations which are experienced within public-private partnerships and who has the experience with building and management of large databases and can assist in uploading large data sets coming from various sources. Next slide, please. So the industry consortium will provide components related to the animal experimental setting. That will be pharmaceutical drug candidates, drug products, animal units, experimental equipment, and laboratories. And the industry consortium also have access to standard toxicology data and clinical safety endpoints. Historical data, gene expression data, some immunosafety biomarkers data, and assays. We can also provide expertise within the non-clinical area, within data science, regulatory expertise as mentioned, immunosafety, omics evaluation, disease models, and devices. And with regard to technology, we have a standard for exchange of non-clinical data databases called SEND, which is a database with a standardized structure where digitalized non-clinical data are uploaded to the FDA in a standardized way, and where there are the possibility to build new domains into this database setup, for example, to upload omics data and immunosafety data. We also have access to a SEND visualization system and access to some device software. Next slide, please. The total indicative budget of this topic is nearly 18 million euro, or more specifically 17.9 million euro. 9.4 million is in-kind contribution coming from the industry consortium, which consists of 10 pharmaceutical companies, 2 CROs, and a company working with computational sciences within drug development. In addition, the patient organization JDRF, working to advance life-changing breakthroughs for type 1 diabetes, also has provided in-kind contribution. IHI and the European Union intend to provide a maximum financial contribution of 8.5 million euros. Next slide, please. So the indicative duration of this upcoming project is estimated to 60 months. However, the final decision will be taken based on the full proposal made in collaboration by the private-public consortium. Therefore, the preliminary outline of the upcoming project is really high level, but consists of a various sequential phases. First, we need to share and evaluate existing data and identify the knowledge gaps. Then we have to prepare for upcoming investigations. So there will be a phase with study planning, compound synthesis, method development, etc. This phase will be followed by the actual investigations conducted in various pig models. And lastly, there will be a phase where data have to be analyzed, reported, and published. We will be able to communicate and publish as the project progresses. For example, compiled historical data and method development can be published early. Next slide, please. So with this, I would like to thank you for your attention. I will be happy to take questions, as Salome mentioned, related to this topic. And I would like to emphasize that this is actually your chance to pose questions to the industry consortium. And as Salome say, following, you have to contact the IHI office, and I can only encourage you to adhere to the draft topic text, and besides from that, do a lot of networking to make strong applicant consortia, and I will be happy to take any questions.
Thank you very much, Maiken, for the excellent presentation. Exactly as you said, today is an opportunity for the participants to ask you questions through the chat box. And then after this webinar, this info day, in case of questions, applicants should only send their questions to IHI. So before we go to the Q&A session, I have a couple of slides more to present to the applicants. And more precisely, I will begin with the proposal submission and evaluation, some useful information that we can provide. So applicants forming the public side of the consortium, upon launch of the call, will need to prepare the short proposal for stage 1 of a 2-stage call. So we expect to receive a few applications, a few short proposals, and only one, as we already said, will be invited to merge with the pre-identified industry consortium to prepare the full proposal. And if the full proposal is found successful after the second evaluation, then the consortium will move to the granting phase. So here are the elements to be considered when preparing the short proposal. So the short proposal has 3 parts. Part A, so this is a general info on the short proposal, including the abstract, the duration, and administrative data per participant, and also the total requested EU contribution to eligible costs. And then is and this is part A. It is filled through the submission system through the tool. So part B, which has a page limit of 20 pages, in contrast to the full proposal, which is 50 pages. This part B needs to be uploaded as a PDF document following the templates downloaded by the applicants in the submission system, which will be made available upon call launch. And the version of it includes instructions. So when you prepare the proposal, we strongly invite you to read very carefully these instructions, as all the IHI specificities are mentioned there. So in part B, you have some sections including the excellence, the impact, and the quality and efficiency of the implementation. So please read the instructions very carefully when you prepare the narrative part. Finally, there is the annex, which includes the participant type, and it is also a template which is provided through the submission environment, and it includes the affiliation and stakeholder type, such as the SME, hospital, patient association. So you will need to provide this information for each participant. Please be aware that the participants can update the information in the submission system at any time before the final submission. As previously mentioned, the part B has 3 sections, which is the excellence, impact, and implementation. And the evaluation criteria, so the criteria that the panel of independent experts will use, will follow exactly the same approach. So the independent experts will use these criteria to evaluate the short proposals. So it is very important that you provide sufficient information to the experts so they can make an adequate assessment. So to be successful, the consortium that will move to the second stage not only will need to pass the threshold, but to be the highest ranked proposal. So the evaluation criteria are 3: excellence, impact, and implementation, as we said, and each one of them have sub-criteria that you can read here, and also you can find them in our website. And the threshold is 3 out of 5 per criterion, sorry, and a total threshold of 10 out of 15 is required. But as we said, you don't only need to pass the threshold, but you need to be the highest ranked proposal in order to be invited to join, to merge the industry consortium and prepare the full proposal. Finally, we will provide some tips for applicants that you might find useful while preparing your short proposal. So please read all the call relevant material that you can find in our website. So for the moment, the information can be found under future opportunities, and when the call is launched, it will be found under the open calls. So please pay attention on the topic text. This is the most important document. This is the key document against which the evaluation of your proposal will be done. So although the industry is yet to join, it will join at the stage 2 for the preparation of the full proposal. Already start thinking for the private-public partnership. So why IHI is the right framework for this project, how this private-public partnership element is considered in your proposal and will be important for its success. Please make sure that you provide all the information requested in the call text and proposal template to allow the evaluation by the panel of independent experts. Finally, please already plan and consider the regulatory impact of your results and that the project will produce. And this may require resources in terms of time and budget. So at this phase is very important that you use your network, because you will need to either build from scratch or join an already existing consortium. So there is no one magic way to do so. You will need to do this through various routes. So we recommend networking with your contacts and also with the IHI Call Days participants that can be found on the B2Match platform. So the platform that you've used today to join this session. Also, please use your the EU Finding and Tenders Portal Partner Search tool. Get in touch with the IHI National Contact Point. So here we provide the link with the names of the persons that you can contact per country. And of course, network on social media. Please be aware that IHI is active in Twitter, in LinkedIn also. And yeah, you can use also the link on the bottom of this slide to find more information about how to find partners. Finally, I believe this is my final slide. You can use the B2Match platform to book your meetings. So as I already said, B2Match platform is the platform that you're using today to join this meeting. So you can do this in 4 very simple steps. First, by making yourself available, look for partner on the participant organization tab, select the date, time, and attendee, send a message, and then send the meeting request and wait for the reply. You can find a step-by-step, very straightforward guide on how to book the meetings on the link indicated in this slide. So this was my last slide. Thank you very much for attending. And now me and the IHI office and the topic writer, Maiken, is happy to reply to questions that you might have.
Great. Thank you very much, Salome and Maiken, for your presentations. We have a few questions already in the chat. The first question is actually already answered in Maiken's presentation. It's regarding to in-kind contribution from the industry. I'll just refer to the slide on the budget for that question. As for our next question, and Maiken, the question is, can you please explain who are the non-clinical regulators?
Yes, the non-clinical regulators are based in either the local medicine agencies in various EU countries, for example, or it could be non-clinical assessors sitting in the EMA. Or it could also be regulators sitting in the FDA. If you can attract those guys. And all of them are very focused on trying to find alternatives to non-human primates. So I will really encourage the consortiums to reach out to the regulatory bodies in order to find advisors there who can help out.
Great. Thank you very much, Maiken, for your answer. And our next question is from Andras, and the question is, so he's commenting that part of the 3 Rs is to fully utilize all data and tissue with the lowest number of animals possible. And silico is mentioned fully, but how about creating in vitro mini pig models, organ on a chip, etc., for pig primary tissues and validated them against the fast developing human in vitro model systems for relevance, equivalence, predictive values. So thus linking in vivo pig and in vitro human data, biomarkers, etc. Also, for example, in rare disease drug development, is this within the scope?
Oh, thank you very much for that question. And it's really relevant. And it is basically what is needed and the way forward after this project. So we have decided to focus on the in vivo part, and then we definitely hope that that a new or another consortia will bring exactly the in vitro models forward based on the data generated in this upcoming project. We are constantly maturing the in vitro models in the industry, but we need to mature it further, and we need in vivo data in order to push this agenda forward. So I can only encourage you to keep up the good work and watch out for upcoming topics.
Great, thank you very much, Maiken. Our next question is from Juan, and his question is, when more or less is expected the deadline for stage 1 proposal? And I'll address that question to my colleague Desmond, that's also on the call.
Good morning, everyone. Yes, so we don't have a clear an established launch date yet, but it's usually 3 months following the actual publication and full announcement date. So what I would suggest is everyone keep their eyes on the IHI website. When we actually have a definite date for launch, then the clock will start running, and then a deadline for submission will be 3 months from then.
Great. Thank you, Desmond. And our next question is for Maiken, and the question is, are pediatric diseases of interest in this topic?
Yes, pediatric diseases are always in scope because we all have a huge obligation to develop therapeutics for children. So yes, we are of course very focused on using the pig and to validate existing pig models with regard also to the use for development of medicines for pediatric diseases.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your answer, Maiken. There's no more questions at the moment on the chat, so I'll take just a second to remind you that all the recordings and the presentations will be available on our website. You also receive an email once they are available. And secondly, another reminder is about contacting the topic writer. So you shouldn't contact the topic writer directly. If you have any questions, please use our functional email box, applicants@ihi.europa.eu. And we just received another question. It's regarding the disease model. So Maiken, I'm just going to read out the question for you. And the question is it possible to elaborate on which disease models are of interest or scope or of the scope industry?
No, not at this stage, not at all. It will depend on the applicant consortia, and it will depend on the interest in the industry consortia. So it will be a discussion in the when we have to generate the full proposal.
Great, thank you very much, Maiken. And are there any particular imaging modalities that are of interest?
Well, it could be some in the development of therapeutics and devices for the patients. we actually need to know more about how to use imaging technologies like PET scannings and MRI and so forth in the pig in order to do the translation to humans, where this is used much more than we actually do in our research.
Great. And our next question is a follow-up on the pediatric question that we asked earlier. So is there any specific pediatric disease?
No, there isn't, but since JGRF is one of the industry partners, I could imagine that type 1 could be one of the pediatric diseases we are interested in.
Great. So just wanted to remind you, if there's any questions, now it's the moment to address it to the topic writer as well as to the IHI office. If you have any questions after this session, please address them to applicants at ihi.europa.eu. And I see that we have another question on the chat from Joel. Thank you very much for your question, Joel. And the question is, are prototype medical devices expected as a deliverable by the end of the project?
Well, it depends a lot on the who is attending the applicant consortia, because we have not yet attracted any companies from the other industry organizations like MedTech or COSIA. But if there are applicants or public partners, small, middle-sized enterprises, or small companies, academia, which do have access to prototype medical devices, which could be applicable in a pig model, then this is, of course, of our interest.
Thank you, Maiken. And while we wait for more questions on our chat, again, like my colleague Salome said, there's the B2Match platform that you can use, and it's still available even after this event. And you can use it to network and meet future partners, so please use it. And just wait a few more moments to see if there's any more questions. So there's no more questions coming in the chat. If you or any of your colleagues have any questions in the future, please address them then to our applicants inbox. Please share this information with your colleagues. The presentations and the recording of the session will be available on IHI's website, and we'll send you an email once they are online. Thank you very much for attending today's session, and thank you very much, Maiken and Salome, for your contributions. And
most welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.